All right. Aion 2 initial thoughts. Okay. Well, number one, and this is a big one, couldn't launch game. So, as I predicted, the game quite literally is terribly optimized. So people are complaining all over the subreddits and the forums and everybody. I mean, everywhere I could look. Even the streamers are struggling to get in. The game has this weird like launch issue where you can't. Yeah, so it just fails and then it crashes. Yeah, and then you have to try to load it again, right? And it's kind of a miserable thing. 2, free to play is a lie. So the free to play aspect of Aion 2 is a complete lie. And even to just play this game, you have to download this purple client here. And I've said this a few times today, so I'll try to say it as quickly as I can. They require you to allow NCSoft Corporation to gather all of the personal information on your computer and email and sell and store that personal information for their own use. Okay, you must click it. I put in a support ticket asking if there was a way around this because legally they're supposed to allow us to opt out of it. And the support literally told me, yeah, that is the option. Just don't play the game. Options. Okay, so you can't opt out if you actually want to play the game. You can't opt out of it. You must allow them to do that. And so I recommend when you go to make your NCSoft account, number one, you should play this on a virtual machine or you should play it. You definitely need to make like a custom Google account for sure. I made a custom Google account for mine. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so I made a custom email so that I could play this. And I strongly recommend that everyone else do the same thing. Because, like, you really don't want them to get your personal information. Okay? Like, you really just don't want this. Or you just, like, literally, and to be clear, if it's on your computer, they're probably going to get a hold of it too. Just to be clear. So, like, you need to be careful. My computer is scrubbed clean. I have no personal information on this computer because it's my stream PC, and it just puts me at risk. If they say I have to reboot or something and it says my name and my address, whatever, even Windows doesn't know my personal information. So, like I'm not super concerned about them trying to search the computer or whatever, or even my email because I gave them all a bunch of bullshit information. Okay. Anyway, so I went through great lengths to try to download this game, and then you have to download it on the. It's only out in Taiwan. It's not out globally yet, so you have to play on the Taiwanese server. But that's not all. When you log into the game, even if you've given them fake information to this point, it like NCSoft requires you to give them your phone number, your verified phone number in order to play the game. Okay, before you can log in. And this is causing a lot of like login issues. That's the login issue I had. And I was trying to log in with like various phony phone numbers from India and Spain and Portugal and wherever else. Okay, basically all over the world. And it just wouldn't let me through because I'm not going to give them my phone number. But basically, guys, you're the product in this game. It's free to play, but you're the product. It's also free. I also say free to play is a lie because one of the subscriptions in the game is required to actually use the auction house. Okay, so this is basically the equivalent in Black Desert to if the value pack was required in order to access the marketplace. Okay, and for those of you that are on the copium that, well, maybe you don't need the auction house. No, you need the auction house in this game to actually play the game. Now, that being said, again, so like, if you're a free-to-play player, this is not a free-to-play approachable game. It is not. Like, people say it's free-to-play, but that's a complete lie. Even the subscription, you need a subscription. Having one of the subscription models, I heard, doubles the ability, your ability to PvP in the game. It also gives you a bunch more dungeon runs and all kinds of stuff that you're going to need to even remotely, be competitive at all in the game. You're not going to be competitive if you're a free-to-play player in this game. So it's pay to win, and it's basically pay to play in a lot of cases without being necessarily pay to play. They just made sure that they could say that. 3, people are accusing this of being a TNL clone, and I want to be really clear. It is 100% unequivocally a Throne and Liberty clone. It is not even a question. As somebody that has over 700 hours in Throne, that's made a tremendous amount of content for Throne and Liberty, this is basically Throne and Liberty with an Unreal Engine 5 port. It's the same thing. The combat is slightly upgraded, but essentially the same. The UI is, maybe you could say it's upgraded, but even downgraded a little bit, but they look very, very similar in everything. Even the textures and stuff in the world look very similar. The bosses, when you fight the dungeons, are extremely similar. Like, their mechanics, the bosses look different. Like, physically, they look different. But how the damage is done and like the circles and the AoEs and how the mechanics work are very similar to Throne in like every single way. Very, very similar to Throne in every single way. So like it's 100%. And even like the door opening animations, some of like the skill actions on your characters look very similar. Again, it's just basically an upgraded to Unreal Engine 5 with slightly better combat is what it looks like to me. Overall, and I would agree with that assessment. I think that it's just like and that should tell you just about how well this is about to do. So it's more monetized than Throne is. The monetization in this game is just like Throne can be played as a free-to-play player. It absolutely can be. You have access to the marketplace, and you can even buy the battle passes and all the skins if you want to without spending a dime on the game and everything else. You cannot do that in this game. This game is like there's 2 subscription models, one of which, like I said, gives you access to the auction house, and then it doubles everything like of your access to the game for the week. It's just the monetization is just, and we knew that the monetization was going to be bad. It's also pay to win, so you can literally buy the in-game currency and stuff, so you can just be max gear score like instantly if you just spend the money and just completely overrule everybody else. No big deal. 5. Let's do a good point on the graph. The characters are hot as okay. The characters are hot as okay. I just want to be clear. Like they did a really good job with the female characters in this game. There's 3 boob sliders. There's like an ass slider, and you can make your ass like fat enough to have a dump truck animation every time she backs up. So that's pretty crazy. That being said, just go look at porn. Is my recommendation. Like straight up. Now, I think that's it, right? I think that like essentially you're looking at this is PvE Throne and Liberty. It is PvE Unreal Engine 5 Throne and Liberty. So my final thought is, as a content creator, I feel bad for some of the other content creators that did invest heavily into Aion 2, because I do believe that this is going to tank. I think this is going to tank hard. I think that Aion 2 had potential as a game to be the dominant MMO to mobile ported like MMO. Like it's kind of a mobile, but also has like a PC variant. On the market, because there's a lot of MMOs like this, like Odin and stuff, and I think that it could have absolutely outcompeted those MMOs. The problem is, you look at those MMOs, the players that want to play on mobile can't really, like, they just want to play on their phones and their iPads, and they're not going to load the game up on their PC, right? So Odin, a game like Odin or even Raven 2 are fine for those people because the whole game can be run on their phone. Now, if you want to lock in on something, you are going to want to boot it up on PC, but even still, most of the game can be run on your phone. Or your iPad. Aion 2 is having optimization issues kind of across the board, and like a lot of the combat and stuff is a little bit too complex to be able to run on your phone or your iPad successfully. So you can do a lot of the stuff in the game, but you can't necessarily do everything. So it doesn't really fit that niche of just like, if I just want a pure mobile MMO, it's just not going to hit those people, those Odin players, those Raven 2 players, and everybody else that really like Albion players, right? It doesn't have the PvP to approach the Albion player base either, and that's the most successful mobile MMO is the Albion online, no question. So I don't think it's going to be successful from a mobile aspect, and if you compare it to the desktop MMOs, people were saying, we read on the forums, people were saying that it was going to have the best combat. They were saying at the NVIDIA like playtest that it had the best combat in the entire genre of all MMOs, period. And that is just a joke of a lie. Okay, that is a crazy lie. It didn't even have the best combat for tab target MMOs. Okay, it's not even remotely close. It's super cap. So like, I don't think that it's able to really compete with the desktop MMOs in the space, and I think that as far as the mobile MMOs, I don't know if anybody's necessarily going to quit their mobile MMO to play Aion 2. even when it releases globally. So that's just my thought on it. And as a content creator, like I said, I feel bad for a lot of the content creators that invested a lot of their careers and their time and their effort into Aion 2, thinking this is going to be the next big Korean MMO, thinking like, okay, we're going to be able to hop to this, and we're going to be able to play this. Because as a content creator, I'm really glad that I just invested in Where Winds Meet, because I'm just going to go play that. If you think that Aion 2 is better than Where Winds Meet, you are actually just crazy. It is not close. Where Winds Meet is just a better game in just about every single conceivable way. And it's not, and you could say, oh, well, it's not an MMO. And that's a fair complaint. But if it's not an MMO and you're looking for an MMO not to play, or to play instead of Aion 2, try Aion 1. Because it's better. Because the combat in that game looks better. The PvP in that game looks better. Like, you try Guild Wars 2, try Black Desert, try any Lost Ark, anything else, and you will have a good time. If you're looking for Coomer characters, you play BDO or Lost Ark, right? That's fine. But like, it's just, you know, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see the vision. I don't think that this game is really going to pop off the way that a lot of people thought it was, and I'm glad as a content creator that I have Where Winds Meet, because without Where Winds Meet, I think that we would all be hopelessly, like, up shit creek right now. The entire launch was completely plagued with optimization issues, people unable to launch the game, people couldn't get in, and then it's got glitches in the game, it's buggy, and people are having it's just been a disaster. It's one of the worst MMO launches that we've seen in a very, very long time. And quite frankly, I think for a lot of people, that's all you really need to know. I'm just gonna go play Where Winds Meet with the rest of the boys. Yeah, even TNL's launch was a lot better than this. Yeah, I agree. All right, well, that's my thoughts on it. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments, but I'm sorry, and I'm sorry that I didn't actually get to play the game. I did, in fairness, try to play the game like all day. I tried to click play at least for 2 hours here. I've been sitting here trying to get play, and it won't play. I jumped through all their hoops. I did all their things. They won't let me play. So, you know, it is what it is. We looked at a lot of streamers playing it today. We compared a lot of the previous gameplay that they've shown to what the gameplay actually looks like in the game. We compared it to TNL. We did basically everything that we could. But yeah, just a rough situation. Game's going to need a lot of work if they're going to make this viable. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the game.
어떤 말로도 여러분들에게 드릴 말씀이 없는 변명이지만 정말 죄송합니다.
죄송합니다.